Good day, everyone, and welcome to Obedient Family TV. The program is Hope Alive. Yes, Hope Day for those that believe that a new Nigeria is possible. And a good morning, afternoon, and evening, depending on our time zone. Today, we get plenty things we say we want make way and well-meaning Nigerians and obedience to discuss. First, this issue that is actually trending about the Binance community, talking about how they've been shut out of Binance. We are going to have a discussion around that, and we are going to have a discussion on this very other trending issue about IBD Dende threatening to kill a custom officer who sees the smuggled goods, and the investigation carried on by one investigative journalist implicating other customs and even Bola Tinubu as fingering one of the people who are supporting him because they can't find why he has not been arrested or prosecuted on the alleged smuggling ring that he has put together. Then again, we want to bring to you the Deputy Speaker, Carl, who says that their salary of 9 million monthly is not able to help them out to reduce the hunger in their constituencies. And that is one of the things we are coming up with. Then we have several other things, especially the one coming from the Labour Congress. The Nigerian Labour Congress has taken a jab, as we know, from Bola Tinubu, but then they have responded. And their response directly is saying that Tinubu sounds resentful, forgetful, and ungrateful, and that is coming up on this very hour from the Labour Union. So, and I'm not the only one to speak about this evening. I have with me Divine in the studio to talk all about this.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us today.
Yes, as you join us wherever you are, please do not forget to hit on the notification button. Please do like and share so that obedience everywhere can join in on this very program to hear what is actually happening. So let's get this trend. Let's start with the trending news and this very video that is trending about the IBD Dende threatening to hurt a customs officer who sees the smuggled good. Now, of course, we know he was seen visibly and physically assaulting custom officers with the powers that is behind him. And we can hear from the voices at the back, both people who are speaking in Hausa and other languages were able to get together that even those custom officials were very scared of him. Of course, he has been in the investigative profile. He has been linked with being an associate of Bola Tinubu, and also linked with the Inspector General of Police. We have so many things coming on at this very time, allegedly though. But I mean, when people talk so much about somebody and there is actually a national TV program about an investigative report of such person who obviously is a known smuggler, as they said, don't you think that even Bola Tinubu, who he has been associated with, taking videos of, taking pictures of, don't you think is the time for them at the top to react, since Nigerians are actually, now that the border is opened and the trade is about going on and people are seeing this kind of reactions?
Well, all this is allegedly. This tip-off came from Fisayo Soyombo, who is, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, but I stand to be corrected. He is an investigative journalist who released a 16-minute video concerning this man, IBD Dende. And, you know, actually recall that there's a song by Olamide titled Oil and Gas. If you're familiar with it, go to the comment section and, you know, talk about it, where he was called as one of these people, big shots in Lagos. But allegedly he is a smuggler, and then they said his proximity to power has allowed him get away with so many things, right? And mind you, we can see on the screen he's pictured with Bola Ahmed Tinubu, or Chief Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and you know, they said this is not the first time he has been arrested. And from the video we saw, he's somebody that's a big shot, because I mean, for you to be you know, challenging high profile customs officials with their AK-47 and, you know, no amount of fear, it shows that he is being backed up by top officials and the government. And
even in the video, I overheard him talking to one of the officers on the phone, telling the officer that he even saw one of the custom officers who are allowed about 4 trucks thereabout with fully loaded rice to cross the border. I mean, our people, are they actually investigating all of this? Let's even take a listen to what he was talking on the phone while this recording was going on. Let's take a listen and see if this is actually true.
What have I done? What have I done? What have I done? He's threatening to kill me. Why? Seriously?
I saw your car trailer. Why carry like 4 trailers? What did you do about it? I will not accept it. I don't tell the people I will not agree.
Let's stand up in
So as we have seen on this very video, it's not about allegedly again. There's a threat right there. We understand that customs are actually doing a whole lot of smuggling, which of course we mentioned yesterday, and how much in billions that has been said to have gotten from them, especially coming from the statistics coming from EFCC, which we mentioned. But like you mentioned, I think without you having somebody that is very powerful behind you, you don't have, to challenge a man with a gun.
Well, like I said, proximity to power. Proximity to power, meaning he has friends, big friends in the, government. And we can see from the audacity and the impunity, because we hear a lot of trigger-happy custom officials who, at the slightest provocation, they just, release the gunfire on civilians. But seeing them, even cower in front of this man, and even beg, because we could see in the videos he was being pacified, right? And so he mentioned something about, I saw your Oga's
trailers loaded,
who did anything, but that's besides the point. I kind of just want to bring the perspective of the 12 billion naira that we discussed yesterday after the report was released by EFCC, that 6 top customs officials had collected bribes to the tune of 12 billion naira. And we know that this smuggling and insecurity going on in the country, most security operatives and agencies are part of it, because I see no reason why we will have smugglers operate freely in a country where there are bodies that are meant to track these people down and hunt them and nip them in the bud. But from the looks of it, these people continue to have a symbiotic relationship where they get to benefit from this smuggling and all of that. And I also, worry about the safety of the investigative journalists who came out to, blow this whistle, because we know how they like to tussle, and we just hope that...
I think Nigeria is just one country where you can just build a very big hotel without nobody finding out where your money is coming from and all of that. But let's take what netizens, what they are talking on X. We have David Dende here who goes on to say that he's going to become governor of Ogun State at some point. Nailed on. The current governor is Kuku, a retired credit card fraud boy with a police mugshot you can find on Google. And the Abuja Oga at the top is a drug dealer and US intelligence asset until Nigerians get tired. That is coming from an investigative journalist who also believed that Fisayo is saying the truth. Now, this Fisayo Soyimbo had earlier said that the smuggler and gun runner IBD Dende is friends with Kayode Agbetokun, the Inspector General of Police. They are both from Yewa in Ogun State. And he went on to say that IBD Dende is friends with Bola President Tinubu. So that's why we said this is an associate, an alleged associate of Bola Tinubu, who probably is why he's having the impetus to actually send Wasbos with a, what do they call, the customs man who is having an AK-47 in his hand. He said he was on the presidential train to the COP28 climate summit in Dubai that we had a whole lot of people. He said IBD again is friends with Bashir Adewale Adeniyi, the Controller General of Nigerian Customs Service, CGC. He was indeed influential in Adeniyi's emergence as CGC. So make of this whatever you want, or you probably want me to say it, and I will. Nigeria's insecurity challenges aren't ending anytime soon, as long as smugglers of arms and ammunition are backed by the nation's highest security officer. That's what we are talking about, you understand? Right. And if the highest point of this is the man at Aso Rock, you understand? You are associated with smuggler. It's so painful when you see people like these investigative journalists who go out and take out their time to actually come out with the truth, and then we do nothing about it. Right. And as you know, let's even take a cue. We are not the only one talking about it. For those of you who are curious whether this is true or not, it has been aired in different mainstream media, including Arise TV. Let's take a listen to what the analysts had to say from Arise TV about this.
The wake of revelations made by Vice President Kashim Shettima that the federal government has uncovered 32 routes used to smuggle food to neighboring countries, and complaints about the porosity of Nigeria's borders, investigative journalist Fisayo Soyimbo, in a 16-minute documentary, attempted to illegally import 100 bags of rice from the Republic of Benin into Nigeria. Soyimbo showed how he succeeded without security resistance and how he worked with information from the Nigeria Customs Service, who betrayed patrol teams. The documentary also uncovered an alleged notorious smuggler, Ibrahim Dende, a hotel owner in Ogun State, who is also known as Ilaro's biggest smuggler. IBD Dende, as he is fondly called, is said to have numerous allies in politics and the media, and has averted prosecution because of his proximity to power.
While rice smugglers who bribe custom officials get killed, the likes of Ibrahim Dende Egungbohun, the founder of IBD Hotel, is widely known as Ilaro's biggest smuggler, continues to expand his coast, helped by his proximity to power and the influence he has amassed with his filthy wealth, more commonly known as IBD Dende. His hotel, IBD International Hotels Ilaro, is well known to have been built with proceeds of smuggling. Dende has been arrested for smuggling multiple times, but on each occasion he emerged unscathed. So what did Dende smuggle?
Rufai, I'll start with you. I mean, that I start with the IDB Dende story to start with. You said IBD Dende. Oh, you've heard the songs.
That's the country we live in.
Absolutely.
IBD Dende has praise singers in the music industry. This song I just sang was an Olamide song. IBD Dende, Afunima Wube was an Olamide song. So look at the kind of people we praise in our society. Look at what that report said about him. He has a right to respond.
Absolutely.
To it. And the customs also have a right to respond. What is going on as regards smuggling in Laro. But we have a big firewall ecosystem. And when we are hearing stories about people being connected to the highest level, you know, there was also a story about names being seen on those that went to COP.
Yes, saw that.
So when we have this going on, and we're talking about smuggling, it's not in connivance with authorities. And that's why the problem with Nigeria is trickle-down corruption across board. It's a fabulous job by Fisaya again. God continue to spare and keep him. But we've always known that there were multiple smuggling routes that these things come into the country. We live in a society where thieves and firewalls are celebrated.
No be only us they talk, even this thing don't go mainstream media. But the importance of us bringing this is to say that some days ago, we saw yesterday, we brought about Bayo Nanuga that is saying that Peter Obi, taking a cheap propaganda that Peter Obi was supporting Yahoo boys. But then, that wasn't the case. We presented the fact that he actually said that it was wrong. The things that we are doing as a Yahoo boy, but that the people at the top does a bigger things in the economy. Now, let's look at it from this very perspective again. See the point that where it is headed. This same person who is said to be a very notorious smuggler, and we have this video that obviously seems like the investigative journalist was right. Now, this very particular person seemed very complicit and seemed backed by authorities. So I think we need to also look at this thing really in depth. Whatever are your thoughts on this, please make your comment. That maybe whether he invested in Tinubu's campaign, we wouldn't know. But these are the people that are running Nigeria down. So away from this, let's take the jab that Tinubu took at NLC. So I want to quickly go to that very particular thing for us to understand. The Nigerian Labour Congress responded to Bola Tinubu's statement criticizing the Congress for embarking on incessant industrial strike throughout his tenure of 9 months. But responding via WhatsApp on today, the spokesperson on LLC, Mr. Benson Abba, said Tinubu sounded resentful, forgetful, and ungrateful. Abba refuted the claim that NLC had declared forced strike, stating that Tinubu's government could not withstand forced strike if they actually did forced strike. This is coming on the heels of Tinubu's jab during his launch of phase 1 of the Lagos Rail Mass Transit Red Line at the Ikeja station, claiming that the NLC was not the voice of Nigerians and should run in the 2027 general election if it wants to participate in political process. Well, the spokesperson also said that, let me quote him, he said, quite unfortunately, Tinubu sounded resentful, forgetful, and ungrateful. He said, first, to set the record right, Labour has not done 4 strikes in his tenure. I am not sure he would survive that. There have been one-day protests, largely for which Nigerians have viciously attacked Labour for not pulling the plug. Nigerians have been so miffed by Tinubu's policies, wanted the roof. But Labour has been very patient with his government. He expected a certain level of conciliatory comment in acknowledgement of this very truth. This is coming from Labour. As for the 2027, the Labour spokesperson said, we want to correct the impression that Labour is after his office. We are not. We only want him to make the right decision for Nigerians. That is coming on their heels. But coming back to you, Divine, you see, I'm not really much perturbed with the jab that Tinubu has laid out to the Labour Congress or even the TUT or even to the protesters. But I want Nigerians to understand that the jab is not at NLC. It is for the Nigerians, the youths of Nigeria. Because once he starts mentioning 2027, it means his campaigns, his signaling campaigns have started. You understand? And that is really where they are headed. So I am hoping that the average youth in Nigeria will understand that a challenge has been forwarded by Tinubu, that he's waiting for them in 20. How they wish to actually go into it and prepare themselves for 2027 is entirely up to them. What are your thoughts?
Well, I just want to, buttress the point where they said Tinubu is acting forgetful. And I think it's in reference to what happened in 2012 when, Tinubu, I recall after much research, that Tinubu had written a 12-page letter to the NLC in 2012 commending them and supporting them for, the protests they were doing then against the Jonathan administration, and then he called it the Jonathan tax. All right, so the spokesperson for NLC went further to say that if he recalls that means that Tinubu owes Jonathan an apology because he had so much to say then. He was also cheering them on to lead the protest because he said what he was doing was actually really wrong. But now he's now in office, all of a sudden he wants them to be quiet, even when we see that the situation of the country is getting damning every day.
He also added the fact that what we had during the Goodluck Jonathan's administration was even better, and now is the worst part of it.
It was easier to bear, truly, because I remember we were buying for how much? 85 Naira, and I remember there were protests about saying it's either we sell for 50 Naira per liter or they go to war. And it just amuses me now in retrospect because it's like, now that we look at it, we were fighting or clamoring for 50 Naira per liter, and now we're at how much? 800 and 900.
Okay, Divine, let's get to this issue of Binance. I understand the community is agog and is everywhere on Twitter that do they call it? They said he's been kidnapped. They're talking about the people that, the 2 executives that came to Nigeria. Binance is saying that they have not even had any kind of discussion with the Nigerian government, and they are not aware of the $10 billion fine that is said to have been given to them. But what they understand that is really I'm looking at it is that the 2 of the executives have been kidnapped.
Well, they were detained when they came to Nigeria earlier this week, and so it was reported in major news outlets that they were slammed with a $10 billion fine because of the Naira's free fall. According to them, they are blaming the Binance and cryptocurrency generally for the fortunes of the Nigerian Naira and the depreciating value, which is just very laughable because we all know that Binance has little or nothing to do with the current depreciation of the Naira as opposed to $1. But they've come out to actually disclaim that, or rather decline that nobody mentioned anything to them concerning a $10 billion fine, and that if they mention it to them, they won't pay attention.
Okay, let's take some tweets that were coming out from X on this very issue. We have Pure Stanley who said, is Binance responsible for the Naira erroneous crash? No. Is Binance responsible for the crash of Nigeria's economy? Question, no. Is Binance responsible for all the misfortunes happening in Nigeria? He said no. Binance aren't responsible for any problem Nigeria is facing. APC is. Binance should not pay these looters in chief a dime. They owe Nigeria and their corrupt politicians nothing. But again, Divine, there's something I look at this very Binance. Yes, I understand your position on the Binance not really being the problem of the Naira and all of that. But I think Binance is a contributing factor. Because when you look at it from the demand ratio on Naira and the trade volume that is actually going in that very market, you see that actually there is some sort of manipulation that goes on there. As we know, there is official trading that people do, the young people do, right, which helps them in business. Right. But we should not be forgetful of people who actually use such platform to launder money.
Well, that's a possibility, and to be honest, I am no cryptocurrency mogul, right? I have limited knowledge when it comes to this conversation, but I genuinely think even if Binance plays a role, it is very minuscule in the grand scheme of things, to be very honest, because it only makes sense that if the Naira keeps depreciating, it makes sense that people want to store up their money in dollar, right? And so if it has adverse effects on the economy, or rather the Naira, maybe they should just try as much as possible to show up the Naira, make sure it has more value, and then maybe people will consider, retaining their money in Naira, because most times we see that the Naira has no value, it keeps losing its value as opposed to the dollar, and so most times people just want to, keep it in cryptocurrency, keep it in dollars, because at least they are certain that
but this that we are hearing from People's Gazette, that Nigerian government lied, that no discussion about 10 billion fines, and they said we won't pay ransom or damages if asked. That is coming from Binance, and this is a report coming from People's Gazette. You think that all this thing is still the APC propaganda, or actually this was fined on them? Because this is coming from Gazette. I think maybe is somewhat true.
When I saw the conversation about finding them $10 billion, I laughed because I think it's very hilarious. Assuming we're talking about $10 million, probably something that we can overlook. But $10 billion on a platform that owes you nothing, pays tax to the government, and just, provides employment that you're unable to provide to the youths, I don't think that's very workable. And like they've said, they've come out to debunk it, and I don't really think. Okay,
let's take a listen to the crypto community talking about blocking Binance P2P, not the answer to our FX issues and problems. Let's take a listen.
Also talk about some Binance executives, detained in Nigeria. So it's looking like crypto investors globally were looking away from Nigeria with all that's going on. How are you guys seeing all of this?
Yeah, from industry perspective, like being one of the people actually in industry, it's actually very saddening that Binance P2P is actually blocked, or I can say that they removed the Naira P2P has been removed from the market. Also, with the Binance executive that was reportedly by Premium Times that they actually detained. Binance hasn't made any comments on that. They have not released any report on that. So I think it's all rumor until it's clear that with evidence that, okay, maybe the NSA comes out, the National Security Advisors, or anybody from the Tinubu government comes out to say, yes, we actually help these people, actually detain these people. For now, I just assume it's just rumor. But for the P2P, the Naira P2P on Binance, it's actually been confirmed. It doesn't work. It's not working. But how does it affect the Nigeria crypto space or crypto global? I think in the global scheme of things, it doesn't actually add anything, because Like I said, I don't actually see our volume, and it doesn't affect Bitcoin. People who are buying Bitcoin, I see buying Bitcoin. Traders who are trading Bitcoin, I see trading Bitcoin. But when it comes to like Nigeria crypto industry, yeah, it actually affects those merchants who is the daily job to actually trade this forex, trade this naira and USDT every day, who buys and who try and sell to make
Okay.
maybe 1 naira or 2 naira gain. I
All
think
right,
it affects those
Emmanuel.
people because they have a
Emmanuel.
market now.
Emmanuel, let me jump in here. We know this P2P market is made up of different kinds of people. Paint a picture for me now. What kind of people trade in the P2P market?
Yeah, P2P, peer to peer, it's mostly buyer and seller. It's just like, okay, I have USDT I want to sell for Naira, and somebody has Naira that wants to buy my USDT. So I just go on this P2P platform, different merchants. We just call people who trade there as merchants or traders. So I just list my USDT, and somebody who is interested comes to buy. Or I go to those P2P, or I go to that P2P platform, and I see somebody who I actually listed. I want to buy USD for so and so, and he agrees to my price. I mean, I want to sell my Naira for so and so. I want to buy it, so I just tell the person, makes a bank transfer to me. I confirm it, and I release the funds to them. So what the P2P platform does is to ensure that there's no scam between the buyer and the seller, because there are many scammers every time. There are many scammers trying to show people that if somebody can do fake transfer and you is actually holding such assets will not. We believe that this. But if you don't confirm the payment in your bank account, you cannot release the fund. And if the person doesn't confirm the USD in his own account or in his wallet, he will not release the fund. So that is
Okay.
just how the P2P market is. It's not like there's somebody, a central entity that is paying everybody. No, it's different traders. Anybody who comes, they can book. But some people, they take it as a job. Like, okay, we can see 1 or 2 naira there, we can see 3 or 4 naira there. With the way Nigeria currency is actually dwindling, so people actually tend to just invest in this P2P, buy up USD,
Right.
10 naira, buy USD 10 naira. So it's just how it is.
So the speculators in that P2P market, how big are they?
I don't want to
And
believe that there's any
manipulators.
speculator or anything. Like yesterday, USD was dollar was around 1,400 or 1,314 as the CBN asked CDC people to actually sell. And today it's close to like 1C. So and Binance P2P, which they say is actually the cause of the inflation of the constant decrease in naira. They have been shut down since yesterday. So the thing is, I think the federal government and the CBN, they are just chasing, I don't know, maybe goods or something like that. They are not certain. They are not certain of actually what is the cost. Or probably they know the cost and they are not going after it. Or if you say it's Binance P2P that is the cost, I think it's a laughable matter. Like most people will say, what kind of country is this? It's a joking matter, because if you look at the Nigeria trading this thing, even when there's no much enough data about it, you discover that Nigeria is not that kind of high income country that will be driving those kind of huge volumes. I'm not sure we are even doing much volume a day that will actually be pushing this thing. So
Right.
if ordinary Binance P2P will actually be contributing to a whole country, giant of Africa currency downfall, I think it's something that we actually need to revamp the whole
All right.
everything in short in the country,
All right, Emmanuel. I
because it's
guess
a joke.
I guess you too. I know you also. I want to believe that you also want to see, a strong naira. So if the government says let's put a stop to this P2P platforms at this time, let's allow it. Let's see how it plays out. Because at the end of the day, we all want the strong naira. Don't you want the strong naira?
Yeah, we want a strong naira. Everybody do want a strong naira, but you have to be productive. Like, are you going to stop people who are buying things from abroad, who are doing business, manufacturers? Are you going to stop them? Are you going to stop people who are buying dollars to send their children abroad, to send to pay their school fees for the children? You know how much, Larry, you know how much all these schools cost abroad? They cost a lot. But people are going for them. People are going for Harvard Business School. People are going for London Business School. They
Right.
are paying so much money. Is government going to stop them?
Okay, Emmanuel, I guess,
Emmanuel.
Emmanuel, it's time for us to all focus on Nigeria at this point, since it's getting really expensive, you know, to go out there for all of this. But thank you so much. It was great having your perspective, Emmanuel. We'll continue the conversation. This is a developing story. We'll continue the conversation another time. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Daddy. Thank you very much.
Yeah, that was Emmanuel Nyasi there giving us his perspective on the P2B blockage of Binance.